Finally, we've come here to announce this fight that we've been waiting for so very long, and it's all brought to you by No Limit Boxing Promotions. I'll start in the middle with the big boss there, George Rose. George, you must be so relieved and excited that finally we can make this official.
Look, I am. I'm absolutely excited. It's an honour to be here on behalf of No Limit Boxing to bring you the biggest domestic grudge match of the decade, Tszyu versus Zarafa. It's something that's been boiling since 2021, and it's a blessing to have such a high-class fight taking place. We haven't seen this since the likes of Tszyu Horn, Mundine v Green. It's rare in Australian sports that you get to have such high-caliber domestic matchups like this. It's like the state of origin. It's New South Wales versus Queensland. It's the Roosters versus Rabbitohs. It's Collingwood versus Carlton. It's Collingwood versus Essendon. It's like the old school V8s, Ford versus Holden. You have to choose a side in them matchups. You've got no choice. You've got to choose a side. And in this fight here, you have to pick a side. Are you Team Zarafa or are you Team Tszyu? And we're absolutely honoured to be bringing this fight. We're starting 2026 with a bang. This is the best possible domestic matchup that you can get, and it's going to be a huge one.
You've been a part of some big promotions, George. Have you ever been so pumped about a fight as this?
Look, it's been a long journey to get here, and I am pumped. Like I said, this has been something that's been boiling since 2021. We've been hanging to put this fight on. Tszyu and Zarafa are the two biggest names in Australian boxing. They're two of the best fighters in Australian boxing, and it's one that we've been hanging to get out here. I nearly swore then. I'm that stoked to be able to put this fight in front of everyone and to be able to confirm that it's officially taking place on January 16th.
We've had some false starts along the way. We were meant to have, of course, Michael Zerafa and Tim Tszyu way back in 2021. We know what happened there. Then this fight, well, it was meant to be announced recently. There were injuries and car accidents, and it just looked like everything was conspiring against it. Did you start to doubt this fight would ever happen?
Look, no, I didn't doubt it. I knew that it was going to happen. I put the energy out there. I knew this fight was going to happen. I know that when you've got two fighters of this calibre, with the bad blood that exists, you've got the bad boy of Australian boxing, a guy who's fought all across the world. He's fought five former world champions. You look at the numbers alone. He's stepping into his 40th fight. He's had 22 knockouts in his career. That's double the amount of times that Nikita's even stepped into the ring. He's got a lot of experience in his favour, Michael Zerafa. Nikita Tszyu, on the other hand, he's the most exciting guy in Australian boxing. He's the most unpredictable guy as well. He's probably the most unpredictable human in Australia, to be fair. But when you're watching Nikita Tszyu, he's an absolute entertainment machine. He's fought 11 fights, knocked out 9 guys. 7 of those guys, he's stolen their zero from. He's fought 7 undefeated guys and stolen their zero. Now, you look at anybody else's resume, their first 10 fights, none of them look like Nikita Tszyu's. This is the best possible matchup that you're going to get in Australian boxing. Both of these guys are stars that are world title calibre. And what happens off the back end of this fight, it could open anything. I haven't felt this excitement and this sort of buzz for a fight since fights like Tszyu Horn.
The bookmakers will make up their own minds here, but for you, George, considering that Michael Zerafa is having his 40th professional fight, we know what he's done as a professional. Nikita Tszyu, though, on the rise after 11 undefeated fights. He's world ranked as well. Who's the favourite going into this fight?
Well, look, I'm not a punter, but this could be the first time that Nikita steps into the ring as an underdog. This could be the first time that he steps into the ring as an underdog. When you're fighting a guy who only a few fights ago fought for a world title, he's been the number one in the WBA for a good number of years. He's been Australia's best middleweight for the last 6 years. He's sat at number one for all this time. He's a guy with experience who wants to go on to another world title opportunity. Nikita Tszyu is a rising star. He might be our pay-per-view star of Australia, but he also wants to be a star on global boxing, and he's headed that way. The way that he fights, people love him. People are excited by him, but when you step into the ring and you've got a guy with Michael Zerafa's credentials, there's a good chance you step in as the underdog, and it gives you a chance to prove yourself. And we've seen that in the past. We've had great underdog fighters come in and prove themselves in the past. This one's going to be another opportunity for that to happen.
Oh, George, we do know the date, Friday the 16th of January. What about the venue? Can you give us any information on that here today?
Yeah, look, we are very close to getting there. A fight of this calibre is a type of fight that you could fight it anywhere in the country, and people are going to come, people are going to watch, people are going to tune in. This is the best matchup that we can get in Australian boxing. We will have a venue locked away very soon. As soon as we do get that done, we'll be announcing it straight away. We want everyone to come along. We want everybody to be part of it because this is going to be the biggest fight of the year.
And another all-important factor, the weight at which this fight will be fought. We know that Michael Zerafa is campaigning as a middleweight, Nikita Tszyu is a super welterweight. Have you reached an agreement with regards to the weight?
Yeah, well, look, both of these guys, as I said, they're stars in their own right. They've both earned their right to be able to fight at their weight. So we were able to meet in the middle. Michael Zerafa, obviously a great middleweight. Nikita Tszyu, a great super welterweight. We've met in the middle at 157. So these guys will be fighting at 157. They've both agreed to that. They've both agreed to meet halfway. And I think that's the fairest way to do it and gives them both the best opportunity to deliver their best performance.
Okay, so that is the news. 157 pounds. This fight will be contested at around 71.2 kilograms, right in between the two weight divisions of these fighters. George, what about an undercard? A fight like this deserves a stacked undercard. Can you give us any hints as to what we might see on the 16th of January before this fight?
Look, the one thing that you know that we deliver when we put on a show, it's a show from the bottom to the top. When you've got a fight like this sitting at the top, there'll be a great undercard underneath. But you don't need a great undercard when you've got a fight like this. We could put any man and their dog on this undercard and people will still want to see it because this is the best fight you are going to see in Australian boxing. This is the biggest domestic matchup that can be made. This is two of the best fighters in the country and they're putting it all on the line. They're putting their balls on the table right here for everyone, January 16th.
And we know we can see this fight, of course, on Main Event Television, which you can access via Foxtel and KO. What about tickets? I know we're waiting on a venue announcement, but I'm sure there'll be people who are willing to fly wherever this fight ends up. How can they get involved?
Look, it will be in a major city, as I said, so tickets will be available as soon as we announce a venue. And to be able to get your chance to get your first shot at it, make sure you go to nolimitboxing.com.au, register to be advised as soon as it is announced that you can get access to tickets because you want first access to this. You want the best seats in the house to be able to watch these two go at it. Make sure you register through nolimitboxing.com.au and as soon as we lock in a venue, we'll be having another announcement. We'll unleash the full card for you there too.
Thanks so much to George Rose. I might talk to you a little bit later on, but now time to talk to the fighters. And firstly, to this side of the table, a 33-year-old from Melbourne. He's 34-5 as a professional. He's ranked as high as number 5 in the world at middleweight right now, a former world title challenger. Michael Zerafa, welcome, Michael. Great to see you again. How do you feel about the fact that it's now official? You are fighting against Tszyu and it's Nikita.
Yeah, look, I'm excited. Like George said, it's the biggest fight in Australia that can be made. To share the ring with Tszyu is going to be great. So, in 12 weeks, we'll go out there and put all the bad blood to rest.
There's been a fair bit go on in recent times. Did you ever start to doubt that this fight would happen? Did you ever decide at any point that you just didn't want to wait around any longer or you didn't want this fight?
No, not at all. Like, people need to understand, we're elite athletes. Things happen, people get injured. It's not like we go into a local gym and, we've rolled a wrist or an ankle and, the fight can't happen. We're training 5-6 hours a day, 6-7 days a week. Injuries do happen, car accidents. He was probably driving to the gym or to Coles or something and a car accident, no one wants that. No one wants to get injured. So, that's life. People need to understand that, things do actually happen, you know what I mean? But we're here now, and like I said, exciting times ahead.
And what do you think happens in this fight? Because you've had so long to think about it. I'm sure that you've pictured how it finishes. You have made comments about being levels ahead of your opponent in this fight, Nikita Tszyu. What does that lead you to believe happens?
Look, I never like to say too much about how the fight goes. Look, I do believe I win. I do believe that I am the more experienced fighter. I've been in there with bigger names and beaten bigger names. But look, there's no pressure on me. I'm expected to lose. That's why it says Tszyu Zarafa. I know that. There's no pressure on me. I lose, I go back to my business, and it's I told you so. Zarafa wasn't good enough. But the Tszyu legacy is on the line. For me, there is nothing. I rock up. I give them all. If it's enough, I'll win. If it's not enough, I'll go back to doing me. But like I said, the Tszyu legacy.
It's not a very confident kind of output.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, 12 weeks, we'll see. But like I said, the legacy name. Tim fell short. There's only one more to save him. Not many people get 2 chances at saving the last name. So this is your chance, brother.
Well, I was going to introduce him in a moment, but he needs to respond to those comments. This is the undefeated Nikita Tszyu, who's 11 fights and 11 wins, 9 KOs and 0 losses so far. He's ranked highly as well, as high as number 9 in the world at super welterweight. Well, Nikita, he's just said that you have the final chance to save the Tszyu legacy.
What's the question? What?
What's your response to that? Do you feel you go into this fight trying to save your family name in boxing?
Not really. No. I'm going in here to really rise to the occasion, to get onto that world stage properly, to beat someone who's had a lot of experience. To really, make a name for my own self.
When you look through what Zarafa has done in the ring as a professional, are you impressed?
Look, he's had 39 fights. He's very experienced, but I'm very inexperienced compared to him. But there's a level of quality as well. Not trying to act arrogant or anything, but I've had a pretty hard introduction into the sport, kind of thrown into the deep end. Michael in the same position, 10 fights. I saw on his box rack he had a fighter with just a pro debut. So,
Michael, what do you feel about that?
He's experienced, Michael, but I'm here to take away the experience.
I think he's querying your record to some extent, particularly with regards to the early stages of it.
I mean, when I was fighting in the pros, he was contemplating if he was, going to continue with boxing or not. He was still in the amateurs. So I've been in the sport for many years now, and like I said, I've fought the best. I've been beating the best in the country. I've been at the top for many years now, and like I said, there's not really much more to say. I mean, the date's there. I mean, I'm not going to be the old Michael Zerafa and put out. This is a big fight, and I'm not overlooking anybody. I know he's a big puncher, but again, I do believe that there's levels in the sport. There's a level below me and there's a level above me, and I don't think January 16th he's going to be at my level.
Do you think they've underestimated what you have achieved previously, Michael?
100%. Everyone does. I mean, everyone does. They all give me respect once I beat them. Your Hardmans, everybody. They've all got something to say. And not disrespect anybody, but they're going to knock me out. Like I said, 35 of them all thought the same. 35 fell short.
Nikita, are there any particular fights of Michael's in recent times that you've seen and you've thought, yes, I can beat him?
Well, in the moment, I didn't really fully see the fight because I was in the toilet. But the fight against Lara is a kind of a nice blueprint. Southpaw, I'm nowhere near the level of Lara, not at all. But he's showed the vulnerabilities in Zarafa's chin, in his style against Southpaws, and that's what I'm trying to capitalize on.
Michael, he's questioned your chin. I know you've questioned his at times. What would you like to say?
I mean, I definitely question his chin. I mean, he's been rocked out of his 11 wins. He's been rocked, I think, 10 of his fights, and nearly been stopped a few times by guys that aren't even the best light middleweights in their gym. But again, no disrespect to Nikita. It's actually credit to Nikita. For someone that's having 11 fights to step up fighting me. I wouldn't want to fight me. I'm a bad man. For credit to him and his team for stepping up, wanting to fight me, and may the best man win.
I got to ask, what's with all this credit and stuff you're giving?
No, mate, when credit, look, I've got no bad blood with you. My rivalry was with your brother. Mm-hmm. There's no bad blood with you, and it's not even bad blood. It's just that competitiveness. Me and Tim were both number one. We're both in the.
No, but you've always been like this bad guy, and you've always owned the bad guy.
Well, because sometimes
what's the change?
Sometimes promoters need a bad guy, and no offense to you, but you're not the best talker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And neither is your brother. So, they kind of need me a little bit, you know? So that's why I play the bad guy and the villain and stuff like that. Mate, if I walk past, I got no bad blood.
So what's the change now? Why?
There is no change. I did it in my last fight. I was giving my guy credit. Before that, I was giving him credit. Lara, I gave him credit. The guy before that, I gave him credit. I wasn't a bad guy. When I need to be the bad guy, I can be the bad guy. But there's no need to be a bad guy with you. The date's there. There's no need. I generally say it, and you've heard when they ask me about your character, I wish you nothing but the best. Oh, I wish you a speedy recovery. I said, mate, things happen. I actually had your defense. I got nothing bad to say about you.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems a little deceiving because all the stories I hear about you, the way you communicate with people in the management, the people in the media, you bring off a very different kind of energy when you're being respectful.
I'm just being me. Like I said, you can take it, you can leave it. I mean, I can be a bad guy to you if you like, but I'm just being me. I don't need to hate you. Like I said, the date's there. We're going to settle it out. May the best man win. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope everything goes well. Hopefully no one hits you again in a car. May the best man win, like I said.
And hopefully no one hits you again in the rib as well.
It actually wasn't a punch, to be honest.
What happened?
You actually want to know? It was actually it was a bit of a weird situation, but I was actually doing sit-ups and they threw a medicine ball, and it just actually cracked the rib. But that's all right, man. You can go for that rib. The rib will be ready for you come Jan 16.
Which side?
It was the left side, actually.
Left side. Okay, copy that.
Yeah, it will even suit you even more.
To be fair, Michael, you have said a few things along the way. This is a quote from you. You said that Nikita needs his chin checked and his head scanned, and you insinuated that he's an embarrassment to the Tszyu family.
Look, some of the things he says, I mean, I question, and I think sometimes he says it and questions it sometimes. I don't know. I mean, some of the things he says, I believe, I mean, people can go against this, shouldn't be said in public. Whether, you know, I wouldn't like to know what he does on a Sunday recovery day outside of a boxing gym. But, I mean, his chin, that's just because of what I've seen in his fights. Again, nothing to him. If I didn't, you know, just from what I've seen, like he said, he saw faults when I fought Lara. You know, I'm just saying from what I'm watching when he fights, and usually we're fighting on the same night, so it's hard. But from what I do see, I think his chin is questionable.
Nikita, anything along the way that he has said that has particularly upset you or offended you? Is there anything that he shouldn't have said?
I think it all started from the initial comments he made about my family, the disrespectful comments he made in the past, back when he was being the bad guy. The stuff he said about my dad,
Said he was a legend.
Well, the Mickey Haddon part, that was
Wow. Did you actually watch that did you watch the full interview?
Doesn't matter. Like, I saw that part, and you're going to bring out the Mickey Haddon. It was disrespectful. Yeah. These kind of things I can't really forgive. It's just who I am. I'm a very family-oriented person, and I guess that was the beginning of it all. That's where it all kind of started, because at that point you were meant to be fighting my brother, but those comments, they stuck with me, and now 5 years on, we're in this together.
And what does that motivate you towards, Nikita, the fact that you do feel so disrespected and your family feels disrespected? What do you want to do in this fight as a result of that disrespect?
I mean, it's more just closing that mouth of his, because I've heard non-stop blabbering from him for like the last 5 years. I've heard from my manager, Glenn, that the pain in the ass that he was after that fight, all the different stories he was bringing as excuses for why that fight didn't happen. He has a way of getting into the media and giving them things to run with. But yeah, this fight is a way to finally close that door.
What's your take on why that fight didn't happen between Michael and your brother in 2021?
I could say that he was scared. I could say that his team didn't want the fight. What were all the other things that you said? Wasn't there like a whole list of them?
I didn't say anything. It was managerial issues, and No Limit obviously knows what went on behind the scenes. And if I, really didn't want that fight, and it was the case that I ran away and I was scared and I was banned from Fox Sports and No Limit, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Wasn't there like troubles of getting from Melbourne to Newcastle?
Negative. That was not the case at all. Not the case at all.
Copy.
Not the case at all. I ended up having to go through a whole legal situation with my ex-team and whatnot, and yeah, there was bigger things than me not wanting to fight. Definitely wasn't the case. I've fought bigger names than Tim at the time. Fought all of them in their backyard. Fought Cal Brook in England. I went to Russia, fought the champion there. Went to Vegas and fought Lara there. I've been all around the world in their backyard. Going to an hour of flight was definitely not the case.
Any concerns then, Nikita, that this fight doesn't happen for any reason, that Michael Zerafa runs into some other issue? From your side, though, are there any concerns?
I'll tell you what, this is how much I want this fight. I've cancelled my wedding that I was meant to have for this fight. This fight's happening.
How does she feel about that?
I was told to make sure to lock the doors so he doesn't run away.
You won't. You won't need to.
Do you have any legitimate concerns, though, Nikita, about that?
No, I think he's going to come to the fight. I think he really wants this fight as well. This is big for both of us.
And when you've pictured it, because you've said some things about what you want to do in this fight and how you want to see him react to what is going on, how have you pictured it? What is the ideal scenario for you as you're winning this fight?
I mean, I'd like this to go for as long as possible. I want to be in there for as long as possible, and just we're boxers. This the whole reason why we're in this sport, to fight someone and to be able to just put pain on another human. And right now, I'm not in that mode. Still kind of a resident of Sydney, just walking around. But once January 16th comes in, my mind will switch, and I can't have any more like remorse. I have to be that killer that wants to hurt someone. And it's the greatest way I could possibly do it, being locked in a ring with someone. So if I have as much time in there with him as possible, beautiful.
Michael, that's some of the darker talk that you've spoken about from Nikita previously. How do you feel when it's directed at you like it was then and like it has been in recent times?
I don't know, man. I'll say it. The sport needs him. He's strange. I mean, it's weird. But I mean, if it works for him, let him go doing his jungle boy stuff where he goes in his forest.
Well, why are you in this sport? Like, what's your motivating
Man, when you were
factor?
drinking fucking warm titty milk, I was climbing the ranks. You were contemplating, do I want to box? Do I not want to box?
I was drinking warm titty milk.
That's what you do. You're on this.
I was drinking that like a month ago.
I'm
still drinking.
Still on it.
Yeah, it's still on it. It's actually delicious.
Still on it. Fucking Jesus Christ.
I'm in the ranks.
Look, it is what it is. I think the sport needs him. I think he does great things, to be honest. He's actually funny. He's got more of a personality than Tim.
Well, we'll finish it there. Michael, your final words to the people of Australia who are watching this, who've been waiting for this fight for so very long and now know that it's going to go down on the 16th of January. Just anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I just want to thank everyone for tuning in and make sure it's a fight not to be missed. I mean, like I said, I think they've made a big mistake. Big mistake.
Any final words for Nikita in particular then before we let you both go?
January 16th is where it all comes to an end. The conclusion.
All right, thank you guys. We'll face off these two fighters for the first time here on the stage with the promoter George Rose in between them. So those are your details. Nikita Tszyu and Michael Zerafa will fight. It's Friday, January the 16th. It's live on Main Event Television. All the rest of the details are to follow. January 16, it is Tszyu v Zarafa. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Ben Damon and I'll see you at the fights.